What we were wanting to do was to look at data from 2 years of over 5,000 candidates who set this exam and to assess their performance, taking into account prior attainment in the applied knowledge test, the multiple choice exam, and also control for things like sex and also place of qualification, because in the UK about a third of candidates sitting this exam are international medical graduates. So we wanted to look at the performance of these groups against white UK candidates. So we had data on 5,095 candidates, and we controlled for prior attainment on the applied knowledge test, and we also controlled for the place within the UK where they did their training. We controlled for gender, and we controlled for age. For a group of international medical graduates, we also had data on an examination they have to take when they apply to be registered to work in the UK. What we found was surprising, that even when we control for prior attainment, British trained ethnic minority candidates did much worse than UK white British graduates. In the paper, we show that the fail rate of UK-trained British ethnic minority graduates was over 4 times greater than it was for white candidates. And even after controlling for prior attainment, this difference remained, though dropped slightly. Between international medical graduates and UK white graduates, the differences were much greater. The unadjusted score showed that about 65% of international medical graduates fail the exam compared to 4% of UK white graduates. And after controlling for these prior attainment of the AKT, the applied knowledge test, and age and gender, we found that there was a 15-fold difference in failure rates. However, when we took into account the performance in the English language test and the PLAB test, we found that the difference between white international medical graduates and black and ethnic minority international medical graduates disappeared. The significance of our findings are these. Firstly, it is surprising that even when we control for prior attainment, we find these differences still exist. And this raises the issue about subjective bias. If we have this difference, we have to try and understand why this difference might occur. And one possibility is the issue of subjective bias or discrimination. We cannot exclude this as a factor in explaining this differential outcome. The same may apply also for international medical graduates, but this is further complicated by the fact that when we control for the examinations they take at their registration, the differences between these candidates and white international candidates disappears. In the UK, about a third of the graduates who practice in general practice come from overseas. So if there are such high failure rates in sitting this examination, which is an essential requirement, then we have to understand why it's happening, because it seems at one level very unfair that there appears to be discrimination, and also it's a waste of talent and resource if so many doctors come into the UK to train, to work here, but then can't pass that final hurdle.